Hello everyone. I'm not muted or anything. I think I'm ready to stream. I'm on the verge of being sick, I think. My son interrupted our last live stream by getting sick, puking at school, and then he's been home from Friday to today. So exposure to him is making me sick, and yeah, so I'm going to be a little bit grumpy, I think. But I got some stuff planned. Reaper 6.77 dropped in the past couple days, and so we'll explore that. I haven't really taken a look at that in depth. I want to try out the global sampler script from BirdBird. And you know what? That's not 3 hours of content right there. So we're gonna have to figure some stuff out as we're doing it live. Hang on a sec. My camera is not set up right. Why is that? Get over here. Close enough. Daniel Lumertz dropped a few new scripts. I haven't looked at those yet. I feel like I'm really behind on some of those things. They are game changers for a ranger view. Okay. I don't know if I can handle that today. I might be able to handle like one script, global sampler, and that's it. Jason's here, Danny's here, Metal God's here, Caleb Evans is here, Synchrotron's here, and lots of others. Good to see you guys. Good to see many of the same names. I want to say faces, but it's a lot of the same people here week after week. That's awesome. I'm glad that this is becoming part of your weekly routine. I think it's pretty fun to hang out with the community. The Midjourney prompt was savage. So if you weren't on the what do you call it? Unofficial Reaper, what is it called? I never remember what it's called. The name is too long. The unofficial Reaper Discord that a lot of us are hanging out on. If you didn't see last night, Venus Theory came in kind of in a panic. He had lost some work due to a corrupted project. Both the main and backup project were corrupted. So I went on Midjourney because the conversation had already passed since for a few hours. I missed when it was live, but so I went to Midjourney bot and said Venus Theory auto backup, just because, yeah. I don't know how many times I have to say set up auto backups from the start. First hour in Reaper, set up auto backups, and it saves you for a lifetime. And I keep seeing it happen. It should be on by default, but it's not. And I keep making videos about how it's not. And I keep talking about it in live streams. And I keep talking about it on the forums and everywhere. It still happens. People still lose work. It sucks. But it is avoidable. I'll just show you my settings since we're here, since we're on the topic. A lot of people think they have the auto backup set, and then they just miss one little setting, and then it doesn't work. So here are my settings. Save project, file references with relative path names. When overriding project, save old project to .rpp-back. So this is the last manual save will be named the .rpp-back. I don't keep multiple versions. I don't timestamp the backups. I don't keep undo histories. Every 6 minutes when not recording, save to timestamp file in additional directory. I have a temp folder here. In the event of a crash, this is the latest version. Now, a lot of people miss checking this or this. This number, this setting, and these two toggles are all related settings. They need to be used together. If you miss this, it doesn't get saved. But if you do have that saved or checked there, then even if you've worked for hours on a project and you never saved, it's still an untitled project, you can go into your temp folder, which I've got kind of hidden right now, but I know where it is. you can see untitled project, untitled, all these untitled projects. And then every 6 minutes for when I'm working on a video are there. Here's editing the live stream. Another untitled project. Here's however many hours. This is the entire live stream when we had Reaper open. Saved you 4 times last month. Yeah, it's probably saved me in February once or twice. Sometimes it's weekly. Depends on what kind of work you're doing. If you're working on experimental plugins, you got some weird scripts and stuff that you're working on, then yeah, it can really save you. I like to have it in the one separate folder so that I can automatically get this folder cleaned up. Should we talk about that? Yeah, let's talk about that. I'm doing it in a different way than I've previously talked about it. Actually doing it in Calendar, believe it or not. The built-in Apple Calendar has an option to open a file at the time of the event. So open file, time of event. In here, it's running a script, and the script is in applications. Where is it? Clean temp folder.app. Clean temp folder.app is an automator script. So it's going to get specified Finder items, the backups folder and the repeats folder, right from this path. It's going to repeat for each subfolder, and then it's going to filter those items by kind. If it's not a folder, it's not modified in the past 10 days. Meaning if it's older than 10 days, it's going to move them to the trash. So that just runs at midnight every day. Takes only a couple seconds. And it moves anything older than 10 days to the thing. So it doesn't overwrite that specific file. It saves numerous new files. Yeah, the auto backups, the way that I have it set, it will make a new file for every increment. There is no built-in setting for choosing how many. Well, a lot of apps will have like keep the last 10 backups as an example, and they've never implemented that. So that's why I have this script that cleans up that temp folder, because you don't need the auto backups if your main project successfully saves and closes. It's really only in between work and crashing that you need that. Unstable plugins, or even just the beta version of Reaper, can crash it, or weird edge case bugs. I've had the release version crash. Christopher Butler says, have you seen the Kenny Joa video regarding gain staging? I was completely surprised by how not like analog gain staging audio paths are handled in 32 or higher floating bit DAWs. Yep. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen that one, but I've seen it, heard it all before. It's definitely a different way of thinking about things. Once you get it into the computer, you can do anything. You can't really clip it, except to your master bus. I think it's still useful to keep sort of an analog mixing mindset if that's the sort of sound that you're going for. If you're going for something that's completely modern, experimental, then yeah, like there's some really cool things that happen when you push a plugin way beyond its limits. Running 8 instances of OTT in a row makes things sound really weird, and you couldn't do that sort of thing with an analog mindset or gain staging. So it's really good to be aware of how it works and choosing when to ignore the rules. So I've bookmarked a few free plugin and sample libraries that just caught my attention overnight. These things popped up in the first, 100 things I looked at, and just want to take a quick look. Give them some publicity, why not? This is from record.org. Foil Imprints releases filters and feedback free sample pack. Takes inspiration from the simple beauty of using resonating filters, feedback from tape echoes, and noises as sources for an oscillator. I think this is a really cool concept. Each synthesizer's filter imparts its own unique character, as do the noises generating from feedback echoes. No oscillators were used to create these samples, solely resonating filter feedback from analog synths. Little white noise was introduced into the filter signal path to create further instability. 9 vintage analog synthesizer sources, including ARP 2600, Moog Model 15, Juno 106, Korg MS-20, Original Prophet 5 Rev 2, Roland SH1 and SH101, System 100M, and Moog Grandmother. Multi-sample 6 times. Yeah, let's check this out. So, pretty cool stuff. It seems like it's mostly useful for Ableton users, and I didn't see any mention of that in this write-up, but that's fine. There's also the individual waves, and this is a free sample pack, so I will put a link in the chat for that. Audiolatry releases Retromania virtual instrument, including free version. So this is for retro pop, modern pop, EDM production where some retro flair is needed. 125 vintage presets, keys, basses, lead synths, and pads. Created using a combination of vintage analog synthesizers and other hardware to capture the authentic sound and vibe of the retro pop genre. I'll just stop it there. I think there's some really cool sounds in here. I can see myself getting quite a bit of use from that. I don't know about the details of the free version, but yeah, I will put in, there's 12 presets here for the free version. I'll put in a link to where you can grab that right there in the chat. I like the UI. A few of those presets sounded pretty cool. Full version, $10 right now. Let's move on to the next thing. Studio Brootle 707 free drum kits with rumbles. This is a TR-707 drum machine from Roland alongside some low rumble samples. Let's get a sample of this. Interesting. There's 28 wave samples in 1644.1 format, kicks, snares, claps, toms, hi-hats, cymbals, and more. So yeah, there's a free download right there, and I will put the link in the chat. If you don't have hundreds of 707 samples already, worth a look. They also have a collection of 909 samples. Artinic launches free Dr. Mix AI synth plugin created by ChatGPT. So this is a simple VST AU clap synthesizer with, this is 12 minutes long. Let's watch maybe 2 minutes of this.
Hi, and welcome to Dr. Mix. You guys all right? ChatGPT, ChatGPT, ChatGPT. If you have been living under a rock, ChatGPT.
Skip ahead. All right.
So, okay, we're going to make this synthesizer available with my beautiful face as an interface, right?
Yeah, sure, let's do that.
I've sent you the picture, and you're gonna be able to download it for free.
I'll put a link in the description here, or in the chat. If you want to check that video out, get the plugin. One thing I did notice here on relinks, there is, let's go here. In the reteam documents folder, there is a screenshot for every built-in JS effect that comes with Reaper currently, which is over 220. So this may be useful. Maybe I don't really know how it's useful, but maybe you remember what it looks like, but you don't know the name, so you can scroll through, or if you want to jump to one of these and see what it looks like. So let's say general. There's general dynamics. Yeah, so you can see a screenshot of it. Some of them have some descriptions on this page here. There's descriptions of several of them. You know, it's a full blog post. That may be interesting to people. The built-in JSFX have never really had great documentation. There have been a few efforts to fix that over the years, but it's still a large amount of work because there's so many different plugins. Many of them are almost repeats or just slight variations of different things. I mean, any effort to document this stuff that comes with Reaper that a lot of people just ignore or miss completely, it's helpful. Back to the news. A lot of these things in the news this week are just like sample libraries or sales on plugins. Klanghelm updates plugins with native Apple Silicon support for AAX. Okay, well, who cares? Who cares about AAX? Klanghelm makes some good plugins though. I've been using the VUMT plugin for ages. Ever since that came out, that's been a really useful plugin for balancing field recordings. The times I've needed to edit documentaries, and there's lots of found footage, like getting the left-right balances perfect with that, using the dynamic EQ built into that. All that stuff has been super helpful. Mid-side widening, I use it in mastering. Yeah, love that plugin. Moog Music Moogerfooger effects now available as individual plugins starting at $59. Let's check that out. I remember using some of these plugins back in the Pro Tools days. Pro Tools 6 from Bomb Factory, I think. But then not really available any other time. So they look just like the pedals. They should have all the same kind of functions. Who knows if the other, you know, the jacks and stuff are available. Cluster delay, I missed that one. New delay from Minimal Audio, considering getting. But these are definitely tempting. If you've ever like played with any of the real things, they're pretty crazy. So there's a low pass filter, a ring modulator, 12-stage phaser, analog delay, multiple resonant filter array, freak box, which is a VCO with FM modulation, cluster flux, can modulate between chorus, flanging, and vibrato, and there's a saturator. So individual plugins are $59 to $79. You can get 2 for $99, 4 for $149, or all 8 for $279. And that's pretty fair. That seems pretty fair. That's a interesting bundle option. 2 for $99 is not that bad. So yeah, new bluster delay from Minimal Audio. Gather up to 8 processed delay taps in time. Lush spaces and echo soundscapes. 6 effects built in. 100 presets. $49 for this one. From Minimal Audio, I've used only one of their plugins, I think. Not that one. I thought they had another free... I thought they had something else for free. Or maybe it was a limited time offer. I may have had Rift. I don't know. Rift Filter Lite was free for a minute. Yeah. Yeah, so I've got a license for that somewhere. But I don't currently have it installed. OBXD2 updated. I do really like this plugin. This is kind of an old free synth based on an Oberheim. And this is kind of one of the go-tos for me to make bass sounds for synthwave kind of stuff. The most significant update is the optimized installation script for macOS, making it faster and more straightforward to install and utilize the plugin. Furthermore, the plugin has a fresh look with a new macOS app icon that adds a modern touch to the interface. I guess there's a standalone version of it. New presets folder with over 1,000 categorized presets and streamlined bank selection. Cool. Vertigo Pulse asks, how do you freeze effects at the item level? Glue is too destructive. There is not a freeze on items. You can render to new takes. That's probably the best way to do it. That's about all I can think of. Let's say we got an item here, put some sort of a delay. Right click, apply track / take effects to items as a new take. Let's do a mono output. It's a little different than glue. Rendering this way would also include the track effects, so you just have to bypass that first. But that would render it there, and you can choose not to show all tracks or all takes. The take mode will keep that effect active, but you can just choose to not have it play by choosing the next take. So the plugin's there, but it's not going to play anything through it. Sometimes you use waves tune to a vocal section, but if I move it, the tuning is now in a different time position. Hoping freeze would allow me to slide the item around my project. Yeah, that's kind of an issue with any of the tuning things. I think even Melodyne with ARA isn't allowing for that. Yeah, I mean, at some point you have to commit to that effect. Either figure out the arrangement and then do the tuning, or commit the tuning and then rearrange things. That's kind of an issue with all the tuning plugins. I want to take a look at some of the recent changes in Reaper 6.77. This weekend I will be making the video about these changes, but for now, just want to try some stuff out a little bit, not long. I'm just gonna kind of figure out what my to-do list for this video will be. I've gone through and made some things bold, but I haven't investigated any of the things here. It's very easy to miss something important in these. And then some of the changes end up being something you can't really show. I don't like having multiple versions of Reaper installed at once. Kind of a pain. For me, sometimes it's necessary for the video. Question, is Reaper good at quantizing a multitrack of acoustic instruments using the drum tracks as a reference for tempo, or is there a better software for this? Yeah, absolutely use Reaper for that. You can create a tempo map from the drum performance if you don't want to change the drum performance at all. And then your grid lines can be used to match up the other instruments. Or you can pick a tempo, match the drums to the tempo, match all the other instruments to that as well. Pro Tools is the standard for that, but I switched to Reaper specifically for that reason back in 2009. And I was doing that kind of work freelance. since then. So from the changelog, generally I ignore things that say fix and mostly look at when things say add. And I just saw another one here. Anyone here in the chat happen to see the edited live stream from last week? I think we managed to edit that so it didn't seem like there was a hour-long break in between the different segments or in the middle of the news. So that was the first one that I had help from an editor. And I still ended up taking a couple hours additionally, just fine-tuning things. They did the rough cut, and then yeah, I went in and tightened it up a lot more. The unexpected benefit of having the editor was that the entire project was done by Monday instead of like waiting until Thursday to get it done. Jason, you're here the entire time. I don't change things too much. Sometimes things get rearranged, but there's some dead space that gets taken out. We're going for like a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 hours down to 1 hour. It's interesting. Just having someone like handle that task for me ended up getting it finished way sooner than I would have on my own. I would have put off doing it until Wednesday otherwise. But it was cool. I sent it to them on Friday, and by Sunday evening, they had the Reaper project for me to download, but not a time saving yet. If I was on my own, I would edit that video in about 2.5 hours. So they spent like 2.5 hours, and then I spent another 2 hours on it. The whole thing was less of an ordeal overall, and it did seem like it was worth outsourcing that, at least a little bit of it. If you didn't know, these numbers at the ends of the changelog, these are for the forum threads. So let's just go to another. Let's just go to a random thread. Paste that in. Nope. What happened? Okay. So P equals is a post number, and then T equals is a thread number. If you get the changelog from the actual website, they're kind of hidden here. These little dots, that's a link to the forum usually. Vertical zoom overhaul, allowing more fractional zoom state at preference for maximum vertical zoom. I haven't looked at that yet. That might be under editing behavior. Yeah, maximum vertical zoom 100%. So let's try 50. Yeah, so this is a maximum zoom of 50. Let's try 100. Okay, and this is still relative to the visible area, not for the entire height of the screen. So we do 25% here and change the height. It's this tall, and if I open the dock, it gets smaller. So if it's 100%, it's this tall, right? If I open the dock, oh, what happened? There you are. The height of the track is only to here. Interesting. I don't know if that's how it worked before, but that's useful, I think. A track cannot be zoomed more than 100% of the arranged view height. Okay, so let's do 150. Did they allow for that? Yes, they did. Solo. Alt-clicking solo button on solo tracks now toggle solo type. I'm not seeing that happening at all. Solo in place. Oh, solo, ignore routing. Okay, so that now toggles both of these modes, but it's not going through the other ones. And what was the question about solo? I missed it. Okay, if you want an exclusive solo Currently, it's Command Option or Control Alt for that. You could do it from actions. Which is essentially just unsolo all tracks, solo, unsolo. And there's probably a script for it, but you can't change it with the mouse behavior. Hopefully that still helps. Do you know of a script mimicking advanced beat detective workflows? Some features I'm missing in Reaper are quantized strength percent and excluding items within a certain percent of grid. Groove Tool seems to be my best shot for getting quantizing strength. When I'm doing drum editing, I'm never using strip silence or what do you call it? Dynamic split or anything like that. I'm always moving manually. I just end up finding it faster. What is it? MK Slicer, a script that I've never used before. I don't know if it does quantizing, but this should do the splitting for you. It's a modified version of it here as well. So MK Slicer can replace Reaper's dynamic split. I can never find item processing, of course. Yeah. So these scripts can replace that. And then quantize with strength. I don't think there really is. MPL quantize tool. Nope. Quantize item positions to grid. Move grouped items. This one doesn't really have a strength. Possibly the MPL one does, but I don't know for sure. And that it does do... It is a paid script now. Okay, yeah. So there's a quantize strength slider here. The ignore if near... I don't know about that one. I think that's a setting that I never used in Pro Tools. People always wanted 100%. And for anything more natural sounding, I just move it by eye, basically. Trying to get the virtual keyboard to show what notes are sent from the chord space VST. There is a JSFX plugin that has like a virtual keyboard. If Jason's gone, but Jason knows of a plugin that will show the keyboard. I might find it before he's back. Yeah, I don't know. There is some other virtual MIDI keyboard, JSFX, but I don't know what it's called. With the virtual MIDI keyboard being an input, it's not going to show track feedback. Jason, you're back. Christopher Butler had a question about a on-screen keyboard. Do you remember what one you used in that video you sent me a while ago? It's called Piano Display. Piano Display, thank you very much. Yeah, this will do it. That script is in Geraint. I always forget how to pronounce it. I remember like practicing to say it, and I hit record and I said it wrong. I think it's Geraint. Check out Global Sampler. Did somebody do a video on Global Sampler recently? I feel like they did. I think I saw it in here in this video. All right, so if you didn't know about this already, BirdBird created a global sampler, which is essentially a script that records in the background. It shows a waveform continuously in a dockable interface where you can just select an area of that recording and drop it into your project, or I assume drop it into another part, like drag it into your sound library or whatever. So you can just be noodling on a synth, and instead of being like, oh, I should record that, it's already recorded and you can just drag it in as audio. So it's like retrospective recording, but for what do you call it? For audio. So this could go into your master track or your monitoring effects chain, and yeah, just have a copy of everything. By default, it records the last 60 seconds of audio. So that's pretty cool. All right, so you can use Control or Command click to play and pause the sampler. You can Alt click to preview audio through the sampler. The display can be pulled using middle drag, and is sometimes required if the audio you want it to highlight is near the edges of the UI. Control or Command plus Shift plus click to zoom the waveform display. Control Command Shift click to zoom the waveform display. There are 5 included themes that can be loaded on the fly with the number keys 1 to 5, or alternatively using the right-click context menu in the script window. While Windows users can directly dock the script by right-clicking the title bar of the script, users of different operating systems can use the right-click context menu to dock the script. Settings such as dock position, select a color, theme, and waveform zoom level will automatically be remembered. There are 2 extra scripts that let you use the global sampler without the UI. BirdBird sample last playthrough.lua. The script inserts whatever the JSFX plugin heard last time you pressed play and stopped the project. If you played the project for 3 seconds and stopped, the inserted media will be 3 seconds long. Interesting. So you need SWS, you need repack, and you need the JS rescript API. I think I have all of those. And import the repository. Did I synchronize? I'm going to synchronize just to make sure. Piano 30 says, just watch your MIDI merge and split video. Thank you. Your MIDI merge custom action should come stock in Reaper. Yeah, it's so surprising that MIDI merge isn't there. It wasn't at that time. I actually haven't checked in a bit. No, there's no stock like MIDI merge. It's been a while since I've needed this, but it's such a weird workaround for something, but yeah. Glad it helped, even all these years later. Okay, so I have I've scanned for new plugins, and I've got Global Sampler. So this can go on the track, or it can go on the monitoring effects chain. So I'm going to add that to my what was it? Global Sampler, adding that to my monitoring effects chain. And then I need a script in the action list called BirdBird Global Sampler. Run and close. And there's the sampler. I can right click, dock. That can go there. I immediately wish that there was a vertical layout of this. I don't know why I'm like this, but now I do really need to go to the bathroom and get some food separate things. I'm gonna have to go to be right back in maybe like 5 minutes. Okay, where's the button? I just slammed a bunch of food into me as fast as possible. So, yeah, I'm good to go. Already feeling better. Vertical layout would be great. I love the Reaper blog Pong thing. Thank you. That was it was my idea, but executed by Leandro. So, yeah. Couldn't have done it on my own. I tried. Couldn't do it. I need to figure out where I'm actually going to put this global sampler. I don't know if I want this replacing my main toolbar. Not main toolbar, but I can do it like this. Not that it really fits, but that's not bad. So I've got my my editing toolbar at the top, and the sampler I can put under my camera so no one sees it. Okay, back to the global sampler. There's also a script called Rolling Sampler, which is, I think, currently for Windows, and this has a price of $19. This one has an adjustable recording duration up to 10 minutes. So this one is a VST3 plugin, and you can put it anywhere you want just to sample it. Anywhere in the effects chain will work, rather than global, where it kind of want to have it on the master or monitoring effects. And you can use more than one. All right, so let's actually try it out. That's not coming through. Oh. That's what the global sampler looks like, and it's about to overwrite that. But let's say we want to keep that. Just drag it in like that, and it's not lost. What happens if you drag a section that's mid-swipe? Probably get it chopped off. So... it chops off. What was this? Let's use Tukan's guitar amp, is what it's called. I would love to see an amp like this built into Reaper. So yeah, if we get a cool sound that we like, instantly just drop that into the project. Yeah. Without any like risk of, without any, you know, that fear of the record light or anything. It's just fun. Outer Space is not a free plugin. This is from Audio Thing. This is a $69 tape echo. I don't like it as much as my real Space Echo, but this is definitely a lot more convenient. I think the Arturia one is actually maybe a little nicer, but I'm not sure of the cost. Yeah, this one's $99, but it's also good. Can't go wrong, really. I think we checked it out, compared them in a stream before. Back to this Tukan guitar amp. You get 4 models. Which is like 2 Vox models, I think. And a Marshall. And the Fender. Most of the tone shaping's done in the cabinet section. I like this one the best. And there's 2 positions for each mic. You can bypass the cab. You can bypass the amp if you want. Simple, usable. That's enough guitar. I don't feel like playing. What guitar is it? Great question. Squier classic vibe baritone. It's got 2 single coil pickups. You were hearing the bridge. I got that last summer. Free VST tape echoes. I'm sure there are some, but none come to mind. The TC Electronic pedals. There's like the flashback that has a good tape emulation built in. LV2 meters. Is it from X42? They look decent, for sure. I don't know if I actually need any of these. NI's replica is a great delay, but it's not free anymore. I like it a lot. Probably not free anymore. They're more performant than JSFX. Yeah, probably. Compiled plugins usually are. IK Multimedia has released a Tonex plugin. No, not plugin, pedal. Okay, cool, I guess. Like a hardware version of the Tonex software. Seems useful. I didn't really like the Tonex software though. There were no like delays and reverbs. So it wasn't something that I wanted to use. Senior Baritone reminded me of the home recording show. Do you have more episodes coming up? No, we missed 1 episode and now we've missed like 6 months. We haven't actually said anything to each other since the last episode, so we've just both been busy. Put some more questions in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to be scrolling through here till I find something good. Did I try the new Yum Audio plugin? I've heard of them. The grader. Oh yeah, I saw this. There's a free version. I was thinking about it. I haven't used it. Don't know anything about it. It's some sort of like distortion compressor. What plugins do I know from them? Oh, right. Yeah, this is Mr. Bill's plugin. This one I'd like to try sometime. You can add clicks or zaps to the transients of drums as they come in. Really cool plugin. And Leandro, with the podcast, I noticed that once I started the podcast, a lot of my efforts shifted towards working on that. And then it wasn't really that successful. The relaunch was very unprofitable, I guess I should say. We had a goal of like, I don't know, $300 or something just to like cover the cost of editing all the episodes, putting some money back towards me putting in all the time and effort on it. And we didn't. I don't think we made even $100 in the year. It's hard to like commit to more episodes when it's like a bit of a money pit. Once it starts feeling forced, it's like, it's time to stop. I saw some cool stuff on Instagram last night, but I don't know if I'll be able to find the thing. Oh, well, great. Actually, it came up right away. Jason, if you're here, I think these are really cool. There's some Midjourney generated retro futuristic things. I don't know what actual tags they would use to come up with it, but oh, Jason's not here. I forgot he left. But yeah, I think you'd like this stuff. I don't know what this is, but I want it. Do I use Arcade for samples? Nope, never used it. I've got Contact, Decent Sampler, Reaper Sampler, I don't know, a few others, I forget. I got too many plugins, like I can't even get time to use them. Nobody's designing hardware that looks like this anymore. Like Nagra used to, but I don't think they're really making new stuff anymore. Might actually end it early so I can get a proper lunch and maybe get a head start on the next update video. I want to get that done this weekend. It'll be quiet here for an hour if I stop now. Otherwise, I'm busy for the rest of the day. Hopefully this has been fun, answered some questions. There's links to various sample libraries and free plugins in the chat from earlier if you want to scroll through. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. It's great to have you have this as part of your Friday routine. And I'll see you next week. All right.